Hello everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel where you are going to master cloud and FinOps. Please hit the bell icon and subscribe the channel so you will get the notification about my upcoming videos. So today we are going to discuss one topic which is very important in terms of exam, in terms of interview, and to be precise, when you will work in a cloud. This is very important fact that you need to understand that how cloud is different than the traditional data centers. So cloud is not even a destination, it is moreover a journey. And when somebody is working in a cloud, they need to have a different mindset altogether. So we'll discuss this point in this video. So before we go in detail, you need to understand the overall evolution of cloud. So in before 2000, there were data centers, right? And data centers nowadays as well exist, but earlier when cloud was not there, only traditional data centers were there, and companies or enterprises were spending on a capex basis. Then in 2000, some web companies came in a picture who provided the different website or SaaS services as well. Not exactly the SaaS services, but services, IT as a service to be precise, or ITaaS. Then in 2006, first time ever, the EC2 has been launched, and then from that time we see the evolution of DevOps and Agile altogether. In 2018, when organization started using cloud on a significant way, they started focusing on the optimization as well. And from that time, slowly the FinOps came in a picture, and now it is on the evolving stage. So earlier studies says that in 2022, the overall expenditure of cloud has been increased significantly, and the tentative number or rough estimation was 500 billion US dollar. So in that way, the cloud has been evolved. But now for an actual administrator who is working on a ground, they need to understand that how cloud is different, and it is not only for cloud administrator but for all the stakeholders who are directly and indirectly linked for the cloud consumption. So take the example of traditional data centers, and then we will see how it is working in cloud. So I will cover each line or each area, so you need to focus on each line whenever I will cover that particular part. So in traditional data centers, basically organizations purchase the capacity, and after that, if any individual cost center or application require more capacity, it is just a matter of provisioning. So there was no issue for having a higher capacity. There is no additional cost. Organization already purchased the hardware and they have to just attach the storage, right? But in cloud, it is a different story altogether. As soon as you will go for extra capacity, you are going to pay to the hyperscaler. So here, there is no reservation of the capacity unless and until you are not having a reservation or saving plan. That is a completely different topic altogether. But in general, if you compare traditional data center for from pay as you go model in cloud, having a extra capacity will have a extra cost. Then in earlier case or traditional data center, the engineer was the requester and finance was the approver. But in cloud, it is a completely different world altogether where engineer by themselves, they can provision the capacity. There is no finance team or no procurement team. There is no procurement cycle as well. So it is completely agile. Via just one single click, anybody can provision the capacity. So it is a moreover change of culture or way of working. So in traditional data center, if something will fail, like your hardware will fail, you will have a higher cost of failure. But in cloud, it is a low cost of failure, and that is one of the advantage of cloud. So because ultimately the hyperscaler is managing of majority of your infrastructure, so they will take care the physical part what you are considering in the traditional data center or you are responsible. Then spends were predictable, and it is under the full control of finance under the traditional data center. But here, because of the variable cost or variable nature of cost, the spends are too dynamic, and it is difficult to predict the actual expenditure or actual forecast. Hence, there is a less visibility to the finance team. So resources were usually over provision to ensure that organization will able to meet the future demand, because the procurement time or procurement cycle was on a higher side. But in cloud, company can start from the low capacity and increase the capacity whenever they want. So there is no procurement cycle. Ultimately engineer can do it just by a few clicks or few commands. That's it. So there is no meaning to provision the higher capacity in cloud. Similarly, the capacity planning. Capacity planning is one of the area where in a traditional data center, there were capacity manager who used to ensure the capacity is always available. But in cloud, it is not a problem. You can provision the capacity as and when you want, right? Even if you will provision the capacity in traditional data center, or you will have a capacity, not utilizing that capacity will not cost you the money. So to be precise, if you will reduce the consumption of the capacity in traditional data center, you will only save electricity cost or sometime air conditioning cost, right? But ultimately, direct monetary benefit is not there. But in cloud, if you are avoiding the capacity or uses of capacity, you will save the money. So now the overall cloud is having a different way of working where you are going on a OPEX mode. You are not paying a amount to the cloud provider as a upfront, right? That is a separate story altogether. If you are using reservation and saving plan, that is a ultimately different model of charging. But for now, if you compare with pay as you go mode, you are not going to pay upfront. But in traditional data center, you are responsible or you are obliged to pay the upfront cost as a capex to the equipment vendor. And the most important thing what is changed in the cloud is the reporting. So in traditional data centers, you used to report the capacity or performance on a monthly basis. Even cost review happens on a monthly basis because there was a fixed monthly charges from the license vendors, from the data centers or licensing and so on and so forth. But in cloud, you are getting billing for per second consumption or sometime hourly consumption. So monthly reporting is not worth at all. And based on my experience, I see most of the customers are complaining that they are not getting the benefit of cloud because most of the time, what I see is these cloud concepts are not getting utilized. So customer migrate their data center or their resources from data center to cloud, but with the higher capacity, they are not using the funda of capacity auto scaling, right? Similarly, they are not provisioning the capacity with the small scale and then increasing it based on the complexity and requirement. So they want to run the infrastructure as is as per the traditional mindset, and then ultimately they are not getting the benefit. So that is what I wanted to talk via this video, that if we are using cloud or we are adopting the cloud, we need to change our mindset as well. What we were having in the traditional data centers, cloud is completely different world altogether, where different ways are there for reporting, for invoicing, for cost and billing data, or analyzing the cost and billing data, and ultimately how we operate. So yeah, that's all. In case if you have any further question, feel free to put it in the comment section and I will definitely answer that. Meantime, do not forget to press the share and subscribe button so you will get the notification about my upcoming video, and your friends and other colleagues will also get the advantage of my content. Till the time, stay tuned. Have a wonderful day ahead. Take care.